Performance PC. For those of you who follow my channel, this title should be familiar. Just recently, they released their latest masterpiece, PubPet. Just as the game's Chinese name suggests. The girls in Tavern Pet's UI will become the super mascots of our medieval fantasy tavern. First up is our leading lady, Thief Antou, the protagonist's childhood companion and former party thief. Orphaned, she was our childhood sweetheart and a battle-hardened comrade fighting alongside the protagonist. While not the only Legion comrade, Antou's affection and bond with the protagonist are undeniably the deepest. Number 2, Alice, one of the comrades I mentioned who fought alongside our protagonist. But during a perilous adventure, a succubus cursed her, making intimacy with her love fatal due to charm poison, truly a star-crossed couple. Number 3, Hetty, a prominent noble lady from a small town, seemingly pure and aloof. Yet, she is actually the most uninhibited of them all. She was quite wild. Married now, she has endured quite a bit. So, as you can probably tell from these 3 girls' character designs, the game is packed with content, plenty to see and do. Each of the 3 characters has 10 CG animations, totaling 30 dynamic CGs. This is truly a massive game production. Plus, each character's distinct personality caters to diverse tastes. So, let us kick things off with a tale of a hero's homecoming. Our protagonist, once an honored Imperial Knight, was battle-hardened but tired of the constant fighting and losing comrades. After a final top-secret mission, he left everything behind and returned home to retire. After taking over and naming the long-abandoned tavern Drunken Dog, the game's main story officially begins. But this peaceful life did not last long as a flash of red caught his eye. Our childhood friend and comrade in arms, Antou, after gathering intel, has finally returned to our protagonist. After a heartfelt reunion, we must convey our feelings, not only to apologize for leaving, but to revisit our military memories. We will settle this with a card game. Loser has to apologize and unconditionally grant the winner one wish. Sigh, I bet you veterans already see where this is going. Fulfill any condition that is suspicious. That is right. There is even a drop gear face at the card table. If someone loses a round, they strip off a piece of gear at the table until nothing is left. Pretty intense. At the card table, we will be playing blackjack, a game some of you might know, others perhaps not. So to put it simply, as the player, your goal is to get your number cards to add up to 21 to win. If the cards in our hand add up to more than 21, we overdraw and lose immediately. If you are under 21, you compare with the dealer, the higher hand wins. If the dealer's hand goes over 21, that is an overdraw too, and they lose straight away. Super simple. When you play cards, do not worry about bets as it is. It is just for story progress. Winning unlocks a CG and story progression. Losing has no penalty, just regroup and retry. So once you get to the card table, just bet the max chips right away. This will shorten the rounds and let you speedrun the game. 3 wins max, and you are done. But if you guys want to enjoy slowly breaking down her defenses before you get that raging hard on, then you can slowly chip away at them with small, even the smallest bets to unlock their true gambling addict side. After beating Antou the first time, our protagonist proved utterly clueless. Antou had hinted repeatedly before the game.
じゃあ、もっと大きくかけよう。マスター、もし10回中3回勝てたら、私をお嫁さんにするっていうのも。もちろん、私が負けたら、体で払うのもあり。
But our protagonist just played dumb and straight up asked her to take him to the dungeon. But seeing Antou's relentless efforts, the next day at the city gate, we reluctantly joined the adventuring party. He shamelessly milked Antou for all she was worth, acting as so reluctant about it. After the adventure, we returned to our shop. The dungeon adventures were just a brief interlude for our old hero, his blade long sheathed, to earn money daily besides playing cards with the heroines. Of course, most times we barely make money, often losing it just to unlock CGs and storylines. Like that. The main way to make money is by mixing drinks for the tavern's customers. Just like in many bar management games, we need to mix different cocktails according to customer requests. Of course, early on, you are just mixing up some random concoctions, so it is really hard to make any real money. So we will need to use the funds. We have to develop our signature drinks. You can find the develop drinks option in the choose your girl screen after mixing drinks. The cheapest signature drink still nets us at least 280 bucks, a glass 3 to 4 times more than the bad ones. So early on, we earn money developing drinks. With enough cash, we spend it on items and poker games. If you are low on funds after a card game, mix more drinks and hit the shop, not the girls. Skip buying items from the shop and build up your assets that way. So early on, unlock the Mistflower Wine and the pricier Breath of Frost, and that will do the trick. Each time you finish mixing drinks, you can earn 2000 gold, which helps you save up for items later on. Items are crucial. Do not think playing against AI will be easy or boring. Each character has unique skills. Anto's most annoying skill, when we use an item, she will snatch it and use it herself. The first 4 games are indeed super easy, but once we hit level 5, whether it is Anto or the other characters, they will all start using their skills and items more frequently. Difficulty skyrockets, and one match could ruin your economy. Then it is not about using items but having enough, so master your management, fellas. Back to the story, Anto was pretty ticked off about us not getting her hints last time. After she gave us a second warning, we breezed through the second stage. Remembering her last warning and her plea to stop being an errand girl, we reluctantly agreed. It was just the 2 of us to the dungeon this time.
約束は絶対に守るから。今度の冒険は、あたしたち2人だけ。もう誰にも邪魔させないよ。つまり、あんたの好きにしていいんだからね。
She is so proactive. I am dead.
まさか、間違いない。私がずーっと探してた。やっと見つけた。これでゲームに勝てなくても酒場が買えちゃう。待っててね、宝箱ちゃん。
Beautiful scene, suggestive atmosphere.
Bus.
Stuck in the washer. Help me.
And then our protagonist chose to just bolt, leaving Anto to get up close and personal with a mimic. Oh, come on, are you teasing a puppy here?
Wow!
If I were Anto, I would not take that. This is the ultimate humiliation. Anto was not just rejected, she was completely played by the protagonist. Even a border collie would want revenge for that. Chapter 3, tonight is destined to be no ordinary night. Fed up with the protagonist's repeated cluelessness and wishy-washy attitude, this time she decides to get her revenge.
今日こそは、頑固者にしっかりと教えてやるんだから、観客の皆さん、アンバーの演技はいかが？でも、マスターにこき使われて、アンバー疲れちゃった。チップもらえたら頑張れるんだけどな。
Could we take it one step further? Furious, be even bolder, the protagonist goes completely wild.
あの時悪い顔してたの見逃してないからね。早く助けてくれたら破けた服の代わりを買い足さなくて済んだのに。もう女の子のファッションに口出ししないで。それに店のおじいさんがいいもの売ってくれたんだから。男の人はみんなこういう服が好きだって言うから。マスター、着てあげようか。家に入れてくれるならね。それってついにお持ち帰りってこと？
This bunny outfit was for our protagonist alone, but his poor performance led Anto to provoke him with it. That night she danced. The enraged protagonist made her continue in that pose until the tavern closed, and though patrons were aroused, none dared touch Anto.
私を置いていかないで。
Even though she is being a bit over the top, she is a good girl. Bro, if you do not man up soon, you are not a man at all. The next day, he recalled their Legion days when Anto was about to be taken by another officer. He desperately kept her there. Their bond was already so profound, just a step away from being official. She is always being my reason for fighting. As usual, if they disagree, poker settles it. The loser apologizes and grants a wish. After apologizing, Anto recounted her arduous search for him. I have waited for you forever. Why do not you ever see me as a woman? All that extreme behavior yesterday was just to get your attention, you dummy.
ハンバーが他の人に寝取られるのを見たいなら、今夜のパフォーマンスを楽しみにしててね。
Despite the humiliation, the show began, but with the protagonist's intervention, no one dared approach Anto.
自分でやらないくせに、 他の人にもやらせないなんて。バカバカバカバカバカ。
And here is the wildest part, guys. Our hero, enraged again, did this both as punishment and to kickstart their relationship. So our hero flexed his fist as big as a sandbag and gave Anto what she craved. Holy shit, what a ruthless iron fist. After that intense encounter, they became official and the story progressed smoothly. The card games that followed were just some casual fun and lighthearted promises. Either you are playing cards with a bartender at the table, or you are heading down to the dungeon to find some mood-boosting slime goo. Or going to the dungeon to film a video, or heading to a special spot on the 90th floor for a date. The only danger is in Chapter 5, when the tavern is commissioned to eliminate a mutated long-tongued frog on the 108th floor. What a mouthful, and its brain is needed too. Once Anto, the protagonist, and their party reach the 108th floor, but the noble client hard stunned them with a paralyzed ring. Turns out, after seeing Anto, he got greedy forget frog brains. Playing with monsters is not as fun as playing with people. He instantly changed his mind and ambushed the protagonist and Anto. He wanted Anto for himself and to make her a plaything for the nobles, a classic NTR plot, barkeep boss. I have already been molded by those stinky nobles, but I came up short. A flash of cold steel, one blade shattered all spells. The protagonist powerfully tanked the magic, sending the client's head flying with a single strike. So satisfying. Anto was crucial in this man-made disaster. Once restrained, the thief lost his speed and stealth advantages, so he started playing dumb. That scumbag client pulled a stunt that made the evil noble get distracted, which made the rescue go way smoother. Sigh. That noble was clearly thinking with his crotch. Anto then held that pose dancing with the protagonist atop the noble's corpse. Before, Anto and the protagonist were inseparable comrades and childhood sweethearts, growing up together through countless lonely years. Now in a new life, they are still inseparable, facing every challenge together. As the Anto storyline gradually came to a close, we also bought wedding rings, and at Anto's birthday celebration, we tied a knot. But there is one thing I have always wanted to complain about. Dude, you guys really do not hold back, do you? I mean, having them dancing the CGs out in the open for all to see is one thing. Even for the wedding ceremony, in full wedding gowns, you guys still found a whole crowd to watch. And the thing is, this crowd loves to watch right then and there, without doing anything else. Come on, a few times at the tavern is fine, but all this dancing, I am getting traumatized. Personally, I like the Anto wrote lovers reunited, no NTR, and they found their happy ending. I was actually quite touched, right up until the final marriage CG came on. Of course, once that bride animation came on, I was like, okay, so I need to give you all a heads up beforehand. So, if you are into light and sweet art styles and CG triggers, then this game probably is not for you. That is because its CGS and animations are very bold and explicit, perfect for players who enjoy bold themes. This is the most grotesque animated CG I have ever seen. While the movements are bold and the expressions rich, that pitch-black backdrop paired with that creepily boundless, eerie grin evokes this indescribable sense of dread. What? You say you do not mind at all? Then this grand beer set, this huge mug brimming with hops, I am sure all you town gourmands would be most delighted to accept it. Ah, that is right. The rule at our members-only eatery is not a single scrap of food may go to waste. Folks, if you do not help the lovely Alice Chang drink this up, some very harsh punishments await you all. Hey y'all, today we have finally reached the final chapter of PubPet, and now that it has come to this, I gotta say, this is some next level messed up stuff. In Alice's story arc, we shall witness a good girl's full descent into the abyss step by step. And the one forcing her to do nasty things the whole time, that was us, the player playing as the tavern owner. Sorry, I just cannot bring myself to harm women. Game on, our protagonist is yet again stressing out big time over the tavern lacking staff. In such a crisis, upon whom would a great task be bestowed? And hey, right outside the shop, a red-haired cutie spawned coming to apply. Her name is Alice. While she is soft and shy, her figure is fantastic. As you all can tell from her sprite, if she is just meant to be the tavern's mascot and a greeter, she seems a perfect fit. But who knew her first day on the job and she met her doom straight away? At first, the manager did not have her do anything too taxing, just stand there in the shop without moving much. But some lecherous patrons seized the chance, exploiting the rule that Alice had to stand still and got a good firm grope in. So you can imagine once that precedent was set, what would those greedy patrons do to tease sweet innocent Alice?
お客さん、
Over the next few days, Alice seemed to gradually attain the caliber of a regular waitress. But at what cost did this growth come?
すみません。でも、お客さんにも喜んでもらえて、チップまでもらえるので、つい。
That price paid versus the tavern's profits NOT proportional. At this point, does our protagonist feel any pity or guilt? Pity my ass? Nah, I bet this dude is having a BLAST. Not a shred of pity or care for Alice's plight. Just utterly lost in the joy of being a cyber madam. Not only did he not stop her, he encouraged Alice, saying, "Go on, do it freely. Not only will I not stop you, I shall help you climb even higher." You taught her that. You taught her well. You are insane.
Daily perks and card dealing, Alice deals out love.
How the hell do you serve patrons? Anyone to be scumbags? Get off my turf, you bunch of evil groundhog!
I will just grab that fire extinguisher and shove it in you.
The card dealing scene that follows is quite artistic and quite flavorful too. Some odd patrons will likely treasure the cards Alice hands out, original flavor and all. Now, at this point in the game, you all need to grasp some plot points. The tavern opens daily, so Alice has to report for work each day. All the jobs she did and had done to her played out pretty much each day. Working so hard without complaint, while the pay might be good, her dignity got utterly shattered, yet in such a grossly unequal workplace, she still persisted. Surely, Alice had her own goals too. In the past two story arcs, Anto and Hertie, one did it for their childhood buddy bond, the other to cast off worldly shackles. As for Alice, I pondered for quite a while, maybe she was just chasing the response to some fleeting phantom affection. Once Alice mastered all the basic duties of a tavern staffer, she sought to better herself even more to help the protagonist to draw in more patrons. So she asked for training, asking the protagonist to act as a patron who would assail her later so she could serve them more adeptly down the line. You sure know who to pick. Now that is how you learn the real stuff, the protagonist's fist. Fist sized like a sandbag is no joke this time. He showed up early to put Alice through some boxing training. Now her duties are done. All that is left is affection. But just how long can this fondness last? Well, that none may know. Bread shops sell bread, cake shops sell cake, you can buy chilies at the market, and kitchens have cleavers. You all better remember what I just said. Train the staff on duty means they are official employees, so how Act 4 plays out? Well, that does not seem too hard to guess, fellas. What is kinda tough for both the player and Alice is that to kick off a brand new hospitality plan, the protagonist even bought Alice a special magical girl costume, not even the regular magical girl uniform, like other staff.
難しいです。会長が私のことを受け入れてくれなかったのは、あの子、アンバーさんのせいなんですよね。このお客様たちも、本当に欲しいのは、アンバーさんの体の、なのに。
Such a total cuckold, kids. It is like some bro chasing after his dream girl gets jumped and kicked about by a dozen big dudes, yet while getting kicked he is all, "Hey, do not you guys interrupt me." Just like that goddess and some blonde dudes quality time at a hotel. After playing this chapter, I had to read the Rent a Girlfriend manga 10 times just to recover. As Ancient said, constant giving will only make the greedy see it as a gift they deserve. Alice has 6 more CGS ahead, so you know great news, meaning she surely never stopped giving. On one hand, there is the high pressure gig at the tavern after work. She endures bullying from the bartenders. Any normal person would just cosplay as a creeper and blow themselves up with those scumbags. But then again, what exactly caused Alice to become so unhinged? From later animated scenes, we learned that Alice may have hailed from a large clan, but for some unknown reason, she was cast out by them and joined the kingdom's demon banishing squad. As the team's healing nurse, she saved lives. Coupled with her pure kind nature, she was dubbed an angel within the army. Later, perhaps via word-of-mouth folktales, or maybe false intel from enemy forces or demons, tales of a supposed love magic began to spread. Alice wished to use that non-existent love magic to win the protagonist's affection. She fell into a trap, was framed by foes, and branded with the Succubus curse, but then again, that is a form of love in a way. Save that. What she gained was a love of hollow pleasure. So it all makes sense now due to the curse. The many lewd acts Alice committed physically do not seem to be entirely the protagonist's fault. In fact, she herself was eager to do those things. Even while under the curse's sway, the inner her remained consistent, at least in the short term. Anyway, humans too are governed by various hormones. Their thoughts shift as their bodies change. Alice's transformation, I think, stems from the single most vile thing the protagonist ever did. To expand the tavern's business and let patrons who cannot drink booze still come and splash their gold around, the bartender decided to roll out a non-alcoholic beverage. Less a drink, more like MILK. Sigh, is it really that simple? This is not just any old milk. I will not get into the nitty-gritty, but let us just say it is the kind Homelander adores. To ramp up production of this drink, Alice went to great lengths. To make this drink, she was forced by the bartender to OD again. She was forced to have all sorts of gear attached just to milk her like a cash cow. Hey, that is not how you milk one. Finally, to ensure steady output, she even had to be forced to have a little baby. Damn, a baby. Last episode, we mentioned that since Anto's pure love chapter ended, the game's art style has been veering towards something indescribable. A noble lady from town and the cursed Alice. Unbelievable. The MC's next step is pretty much to chain Alice up in the couch. That is sheer abuse. Humans are not plants. We all have feelings. Then, for the final bride CG, no surprise here. Our lead goes to propose yet again. One tavern, 3 brides, still top notch, and the one proposing still those black dudes arm around each other's shoulders.
What the dog doing?
I see zero emotion, just a wicked feudal capitalist basking in the joy of his harvest. I got to say, by the game's end, the one who truly echoes the title, Tavern Pet, is Alice, that sweet girl who was taught to be a pet, utterly losing all dignity and person. So that plus videos on this channel covers the full playthrough of this new work by the Qingdao creators. Plus, their studio recently dropped a new game, one about finding fake humans, so let us look forward to that. So, thanks for watching, see you in our next game video.
Well, you are already mature players. It's time to lift rookie protection. We're about to face Alice, the real tavern pet cursed by the Succubus. And a lover and lady you don't want your husband to know about, the bedmanic Hetty. One reminder that these two characters are not 1 or 2 points. Grandma New really opened the door for Grandpa New. The cow has arrived home. Another busy day at the pub. There was a lot of noise. Just when the protagonist is busy, a black and charming figure appeared before our eyes. This lady must have come to the tavern a lot, but he wasn't comfortable drinking. Why do you still come here? Strange. I must be at home every day with my husband and children. Lonely and bored, I came to the tavern to quench my thirst. The protagonist is also a crazy worker at this time. He directly invited PD to help the tavern share the pressure. Double pay. Not interested. Cout and beg.
你是个嘚儿，我指你脑门了，再嘚瑟，大嘴巴我勒死你，听懂吗？
Coincidentally, this lady seems to enjoy playing cards. Then you might as well learn some card skills. Poker is set. Therefore, a new card game began. For those of you who haven't seen previous films, the basic process of the game is to bartending, selecting characters, and starting the plot. Blackjack poker game. Determine whether to unlock the current CD content. These are the rules of the card game. You can take a look. It's quite simple. Each girl has unique skills and props at the poker game. This is a special rule. After playing, I don't feel the hard print of Anto from the last episode. Anto will steal props at critical moments. He was almost lucky enough to steal several times in a row. Very hard to crack. Back to the game. We are still using the old tactic of making a maximum bet on the speed of light to end the match. Hetty kept his promise to serve as a temporary waiter at the tavern, but something unexpected happened. A noisy drinker took Hetty into his arms, opened up all kinds of happy memories of the past. Ah, are you talking about the past?
もう昔のことよ。結婚もしているし、あまり覚えていないわ。だから、思い出させてくれるかしら。
No more words. Hurry up! After a commotion. This concludes today's reception. This shows that many of the customers in the tavern are Hedy's old friends. Popularity is so good. They also kept silent in front of Hedy's husband. It's really hard to evaluate the per capita quality. The pub KPI played very well that day. Hedy is not just accompanying wine and customers. He was also responsible for doing chores and washing dishes. The workload far exceeds that of ordinary employees. It's a pin crown. I am the protagonist. I want to keep him dead. The next day, the bartender decided to take the initiative. Hey, Hedy, let's have a Pokemon duel. If you lose, you will be my... Give me a black job.
いいけど、負けた時のことも、ちゃんと覚悟しておきなさいね。
Not sisters, did you promise so soon? And this strange, longing expression. What the hell is going on? Although the conversation with Hedy in the first 3 days hinted that Hedy has a penchant for poker, but is that really the case? Rather than saying that Hedy loves to play cards and has a contractual spirit, rather, Hedy is deciding your own destiny with the dice. This is not surprising. On the one hand, the shackles of the world, the feelings of others, the mission of supporting one's husband and children, the opinions of others, and one's own survival. On the other hand, he has very different hobbies and anti-worldly temperament. Contradictions have always been rife in Hedy's past life. Faced with the choices that are trapped in my heart every day and night, wanted but not torn. If you have a choice, many people will choose to use an illusory command to get themselves out of this life predicament. So big that religion is like this, the underworld is like this, politics is like this. As small as a rock, paper, scissors coin toss. Now we can see the sky through the clouds. Hedy is gambling. I don't gamble, just need this simple way. Choose the only immutable and reliable line for your uncertain and complex future. A couple of games ended. Hidi cooperated with the protagonist to complete the special consumption plan at the tavern. It also acts as the welfare and licensing officer for all drinkers. The popularity of taverns is not only attracting civilians, it attracted the participation of many nobles. Hey, that's right. It's the dirty and smelly evil nobles. We just killed one in the last episode. This time, it is to enjoy advanced benefits and investment cooperation. And Heidi was also, unsurprisingly, the leading candidate for this negotiation. As we all know, the barbarian aristocracy had a stereotype of being glossy and polite on the surface. Behind his back, his ugly face was even worse than that of a poor red-breasted criminal. And ugly, it is even more vividly expressed in this game. He has always had his own tasting bottom line, just like in many popular ACD works. That won't work. That one is for my husband. You actually ate it without authorization. All right, at least my heart has always been my husband's. Finally, I gradually sank. Happy! Same thing here. The destruction of Hidi's bottom line is not just for the great nobles. There are also little nobles' mom.
Mom,
I called today.
I became mythical. Can you give me a reward?
The children's part of this game is really rare. Fill the void without the goblin CD. I'm really curious, brothers! After this battle, Hidi's achievements are not just at the level of sales and crowns. After attracting guests, let the pub business thrive. Satisfied the nobles. Again, the investment plan was promoted. Now, look. This sister's sales ability is at the partner level. The protagonist of Conscious Discovery can be said to be very guilty. Decided to pay compensation. Express your gratitude. Of course, we've made it very clear earlier. This sister doesn't really need any compensation. All of this is actually his wish. It's too late to be happy. In addition to being the wife of a peerless nobleman, there's no shortage of money and power at all. Out of curiosity about the lives of adventurers, he decided to have the male protagonist act as an escort. Escort yourself to experience life in the dungeon. Dungeon adventure. Good. This is recorded in the first video of Dungeon Pop. Not surprisingly, there's going to be an accident. Hidi was caught by the tentacle monster. Ah, it's you again! Tentacle monster! Even though my animation starts from tentacle monster, but it's really nothing to do with him. In order to prevent the tentacle monster from eating Hidi dry and wiping him clean, the sandbag-like fist that had waited for the plot 5 times went online again. What? Anto's favorite thing. What? Captain Adventurer. Light wings spread. As long as I satisfy the lady first, other monsters won't get their hands on it. You didn't say such a big thing earlier. Just do it. Hey, looking at Anto's fight with treasure box monsters in the dungeon. The protagonist is so kind to Hidi. Envy the mysterious noble lady of the town. The saw called one back to life and two back to maturity. The protagonist has always faced Hidi from the perspective of a winner or a superior ordering a subordinate. With this passion boxing. In addition, he specially sent away the nobles and 9 little monsters in front of him. Finally, the boss finally showed his blood bar. The villain is actually myself. Oh my fucking god. The protagonist begins to harass everywhere and himself every day for all kinds of strange reasons. Play blackjack games. Wash the dishes if you lose. I don't think so. After winning the game. While cleaning up at the front desk, I ran into my own children who ran into the pub.
あら、どうしたの？一人でよくここまで来れたわね。
What happened next could be said to be a loving mother who loved her son for thousands of miles. By the 8th plot, it was even more cloudy. The protagonist's eyes are not far away. If he wanted it, he would directly ask Brother He if it was okay.
何事かと思えば、そういうこと。でも、面白そうじゃない。
It's not what you take your heavy sister for. They have helped you complete a large number of orders. I will also attract investment for you. As a result, your passion for boxing is ignored. Is this how you repay others? Of course, there is a price to be paid for blindly taking... Well, we were also very cruel this time and let the male lead lose once. The reason is that if the male lead loses, this time I will walk my little earthworm in public. The same is true on the 9th day. Healy brought the male protagonist home, say the game starts. The loser has to share his dirty little secret. No matter how you look at this, brother, he will suffer even more. While our sister, he is bright and magnanimous. In addition to not being honest with your husband, for everyone else, it's all a question. I don't know. Well, since there are no secrets, then build one now.
大丈夫よ。その服を着ているあなたは、この家のご主人様なんだから。
This time, Hidi can be said to have completely played off, although it is emphasized many times in the plot that Hidi wants to take care of his family. Care about your husband. A good woman who loves her children. But the initial rejection was really bad. Plus, the dubbing is awesome. It gives people the feeling of loving someone just to spice up their little game. In the end, our sister, Hebi, also got what she wanted. Tear off the disguise. Enable chaos party mode. The bartenders and evil bartenders in the tavern also received all kinds of sensory satisfaction as scheduled. So here's the thing. since it is already the last flower marriage CD. So, is this carnivore husband already aware of it? The plot didn't mention it, but I prefer the husband still know nothing. Hey, only the house was destroyed. The end of the poor old man and the innocent child's injuries was achieved.